Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Game on Cloud 9 here, and today I'm here to bring you guys a new Naruto manga 653 prediction. And you got to hand it to Kishimoto. You gotta hand it to him because honestly, I feel like this chapter was very well done, especially considering the chapters that we had, I'd say, a few weeks ago that were kind of alright-ish. They weren't nothing really special happened in it. Although I did like last week's chapter, obviously, with the whole nine-tailed QB Susanoo deal going on. You all know what I'm talking about, where there's a fusion between Naruto and Sasuke's techniques. So I did like that. But as far as this week's chapter, I felt like finally things are starting to progress, and you can obviously tell Obito is getting ready to reach his defeat. And the manner in which it happens makes perfect sense. I mean, the Tail Beast did give Naruto a little bit of their chakra beforehand, and before when they did give him a little bit of their chakra during the whole Tail Beast fight, I'd probably say that didn't happen. That probably happened like in the middle of the war or whatnot. I thought that that they were probably gonna they gave him a chakra, and I thought maybe Killer Bee would give him a little bit, and maybe Gar would give him a little bit, and he was gonna reach some kind of, I guess, miniature Sage the Six Paths mode. And what I mean by that is kind of like you see how Obito has the ten tails obviously still in his body, and how he has a ten tails transformation. I thought Naruto would reach maybe some mock form of it so they would stand some chance of beating Obito, but clearly that didn't happen, which there's no problem with that. I don't have any issue with that. In fact, obviously, shows that Naruto still has that strategic side in it, because we all know in part one, I probably would say there was a little bit more strategy in some parts, or I'd probably say in some fights you saw a little bit more of that versus in part two. Even though I like part two over part one, you do get I would probably say a few more overpowered jutsu, such as like Madara, who's just straight up overpowered, although he is a tactician as well. So I like in the manner in which they actually are starting to bring Obito down with the whole tug of war concept, which we saw with Naruto and the Nine Tails back in the Kushina flashback arc. So that was really nice. Um, I also like the color spread we got with Hashirama, Madara, of course Naruto and Sasuke. So that was all done well, and Obito was in the center. So all around as far as the, I'd probably say the content we got in this week's chapter as well as the color spread. I just feel like the artists really put a lot into it this week. Of course, we also started to see a different side of Obito in this week's chapter. As we all know, after the whole tug of war thing, once they were getting ready to rip the tail beast from his body, Obito basically goes into a deep thought process, thinking, you know, I'm like, am I starting to really like regret everything that I've ever done? And he's thinking about it because he's seeing himself in Konoha, he's seeing himself with Kakashi, and he's seeing himself with, of course, all the other Konoha members, and seeing himself as the Hokage with the Hokage monument, and looking at how things could have actually been different. Instead, now, of course, he's fighting against everybody, and he's seeing that Naruto pretty much is what he could have been. Naruto represents that. That's why you keep seeing, him seeing himself in Naruto. There was actually a point where we see in this week's chapter of Obito seeing Naruto, and then all of a sudden it turning into Obito. He's like, damn. I'm like, you can even tell like he knows he fucked up, and that's of course when Naruto actually starts to get in his head. Then that's basically due to the fact that once Naruto actually started ripping, or I should say, started grabbing onto the tail beast chakra, he was able to actually see Obito's thoughts and feelings. They were actually linked. So similar to, I guess you could say, how everybody in the Shinobi Alliance can feel what Naruto feels. He's starting to be able to feel Obito now that he's able to grab the chakra that Obito's been possessing all this time. So they're, somewhat linked for the moment. And that's when we see, of course, Naruto sees the whole Ren situation, him holding Ren's, her being dead, and sees that Kakashi and Obito were teammates and the whole shebang. And that actually gets him to start tearing up a little bit, actually feeling what Obito feels for an instant. And of course, that's when him and, well, not right at that moment. I think that was more towards the beginning of the chapter, but towards the end of the chapter, of course, once Naruto confronts Obito, he pretty much says, hey, I'm like, we're really the same. You were just like me, as far as the whole Hokage thing goes. And Obito, of course, he wants to push Naruto away. He's like, get away from me. What do you want from me? And Naruto talks about, he's like, you honestly, you like the whole Hokage thing. Obviously, you still care about these things. Obviously, these aren't the exact words that Naruto gave in the chapter, but in short, that's pretty much what he was saying. That you still care about these things. These are things that are still in your heart. You didn't forget them. And then he's like, you were a friend of Kakashi. You were my father's student and you're a relative of Sasuke, but yet you still wear this mask, to cover up. And, of course, Obito wanting to reject him, try to push him away. You can see Naruto now is not only, like he's not just trying to defeat Obito, but now he's really trying to understand him. And then that's when he tells him at the end of the chapter that he's going to rip the mask right off of his face, that he's been hiding behind this entire time. And that's pretty much the end. Now, of course, I kind of skipped around a little bit as far as this synopsis goes with this week's chapter. And I kind of missed the part where, of course, his teammates, try to urge Naruto on. Even Sasuke, when Naruto started to lose his grip on things, tried to, help him pull the, like get himself together so he can actually pull the tail beast out. So that was a interesting touch to it. But I mean, of course, the main focus of the chapter is Naruto actually starting to try to convert or convince Obito to come back to the way he was before. Now, as far as how I feel about that, this is something that of course, I seen coming, but I actually like. It's probably one of the things that I really enjoy about the Naruto story. Most times, if you think about it, like in most anime, you don't really see like main characters really trying to understand their opponents. They may just go ahead and defeat them. They do what they feel like they need to do. Versus a lot of times in Naruto, of course, Naruto actually said, actually tries to talk to his opponents, get why they're actually going about what they're trying to do. Like, what was the reason for it? Which actually kind of goes back to what Jiraiya said earlier on, or it wasn't. I guess technically it wasn't in Shippuden. It was technically probably somewhere in between the time skip. But we found out about it in Shippuden when Jiraiya told Naruto that one day he wants that he thinks there'll be a day where people just try to understand each other, that everybody will truly come to understand one another. And you can obviously see Naruto's trying to set that example. Naruto's trying to understand his opponents, which is something I think would be really nice if we all actually tried to do in real life somewhat. Like obviously, we all aren't perfect, and everybody goes through different ordeals in their life. But how much better would life be if everybody actually tried to say, I know you're pissed off, I know you're having a hard time, but like just tell me, like, what can I do to help you, or why are you doing this? Just to understand where a person is coming from. So I really like that. Even though Obito may have killed Naruto's family, and he did all these different types of things, Naruto's still willing to try to go ahead and find out what made you do this, and honestly, how can I, or maybe not how can I help you, but what can I do to make things better from here on out? That's the kind of attitude that Naruto takes towards things, and I feel like Pain really taught him that, especially. So I like seeing, of course, Naruto do this sort of thing. It's probably one of the nicest touches to the series, in my opinion. Now, as far as what I think is going to happen, I think we're probably going to get a few flashbacks after this. And the reason why is because there's still some explanations for some things we don't know. Now, some may not really like the fact that we may be getting ready to go into flashbacks, but at the same time, if you're a person like me who wants answers for certain things, then you probably should appreciate the fact that we're going to probably get some of these explanations. We should get explanation on, or find out more about his life as far as when he went to recruit Akatsuki members. That's something I'm expecting to see, if he's going to give Naruto a story, or some of his backstory as far as what he did after the whole Boulder Crush Madara thing. I also feel like we need to get I'd probably say, his story as far as in the Mist Village, what he did in the Mist Village as far as controlling everybody, what his role was as far as partaking in the Uchiha clan massacre. Those are things I'm expecting to get at least a little bit of it. So those are my expectations as far as the next few chapters go, since it seems like his defeat is pretty much imminent now. And obviously, I'm curious as to what Naruto's response is going to be after he actually gives all his explanations. Now, do I think Obito is going to fully redeem himself? I don't think there's really much he really can do. The Shinobi world pretty much sees him, as a scumbag now. There's probably worse than scum, like Kakashi would probably say, and Obito at one point would say. So, I mean, honestly, he's probably. I'm thinking after he gets the tail beast pulled out, I mean, he may die, but well, he should die at least because any Jinchuriki who has their tail beast ripped out of their body should be dead. And I'm pretty sure if you get the freaking ten tails ripped out, that should be almost imminent death. But I'm thinking he's probably going to try to attack Madara. Maybe he'll do a little something to kind of weaken up Madara a little bit, only as some kind of act of redemption. Since he did start a world war, some kind of redemption. But even if he was able to bring everybody back in the world from the war, it still wouldn't be able to redeem everything he's done because he started a freaking terrorist organization and freaking even even had the what was it the Uchiha, he even took a place in the or took part a little bit in the Uchiha clan massacre according to Danzo. So I don't know, man. I don't really feel like there's much he really can do at this point to redeem himself. In fact, there's really nothing he can do, to redeem himself. He even did the nine-tailed fox attack, so too much has been done. But I think that after that's probably all said and done, Madara obviously is going to have a huge role, cause considering the fact that he has this whole deal with a trump card. So I don't know if maybe he's gonna steal the chakra like in the next few chapters or not from the ten tails, like while they're doing this whole link thing, and then he's gonna become the ten tail Jinchuriki himself, or if he has some whole alternate goal, like some completely different goal. Because if he does manage to get the ten tails, which is a possibility, then we will see the infinite Tsukuyomi. Because right now, you have to keep in mind too that it is looking like the Alliance is going to win. And I don't think Madara Uchiha is just there for no reason. So obviously, he has to be there for some type of plot twist, considering the fact that Kishimoto already set up for the trump card. So I'm gonna go ahead and just make a guess that Infinite Tsukuyomi will happen. And the reason why is because Madara is going to find out, or is going to somehow gain the chakra right after Obito is gets it extracted from his body. Maybe Obito will do something to try to mess up Madara, but ultimately speaking, Madara probably will find a way to activate the infinite Tsukuyomi because he's still there. He's still a threat on the battlefield. And before this, he was even before Obito had the Ten Tails chakra, he was even bigger threat. So I would definitely say, we're gonna probably after a few chapters be entering Uchiha Madara, the Uchiha Madara arc or whatever you want to call it. Now, is it something that I want to go on for an extraordinary amount of time? To be honest, no. I like the war. It's been slow at some parts, but of course, especially like with Obito, sometimes saying the entire speech over and over again about don't give up, this, and this. But and I kind of wanted to wrap up a little bit. I'm glad Obito's getting ready to come to an end. Not because I don't like him. I do like Obito, but I feel like I'm ready to see some other things in the story, such as Sasuke, what his whole objective is, what his plan is, what he actually wants to do. Because I still feel like his whole plan is kind of unclear right now. So we'll see where exactly that goes. And concerning, of course, Madara, I'm interested in that, but again, it still kind of ties in with the war. So when he does, or if he does go ahead and somehow gain the chakra, as some kind of plot twist to activate the infinite Tsukuyomi, and we go into some infinite Tsukuyomi arc, I just don't want it to stretch on forever. It can last a little bit, but just not forever. But maybe within that particular arc, maybe we'll get the complete story of the Sage of Six Paths. Maybe somehow he'll talk to Naruto while he's in the Infinite Tsukuyomi. It definitely would be something nice to see. But anyway, these are pretty much my thoughts as far as what I think is going to actually happen within the next few chapters. Flashbacks, we should get coverage of probably the Akatsuki foundings and everything. Because before, when we got flashbacks, it was mainly focused on why Obito decided to do what he, or decided to change. But it wasn't necessarily on what kept him on that path and what he continued to do down that path. You know, that, obviously put him past, just redeeming himself through normal means. So I don't know. That's just basically what I expect to see. And then probably after that, somehow Madara is gonna wiggle his way in on some kind of, I guess, plot twist and steal the chakra and activate Infinite Tsukuyomi, because I don't believe it's going away. Which I guess I'm a little excited to see Infinite Tsukuyomi. Well, if Infinite Tsukuyomi activates, because I do want to see, in a sense, what Madara's ideal world would be. So if we did get an Infinite Tsukuyomi arc, that would feel a bit fresh, in my opinion. To get an arc revolved around being in it and seeing what his world looks like. Other than that, those are my thoughts as far as my rating. I think the pacing was really good this week. I felt like the artwork was spot on as far as most of the panels. I felt like there was a couple panels in particular that I really liked. I liked that double page spread when they were pulling on the chakra and they were getting ready to literally rip it out of Obito's body, and the shocked look Obito had on his face, Naruto's face, the way it was drawn, and the bird's eye view that we got of everybody, Obito and of course, the tug of war thing going on. So that was a nice page. I also think the last page was really nice as well. Naruto's expression when talking about ripping off Obito's mask that he has on his face, and even of course, the color spread. So all of that was really nice, and we progressed a bit as far as story wise. So rating wise, I'm gonna give this just a straight Kage level chapter. I thought it was really good. I definitely recommend it if you haven't read it. Although if you haven't read it, I guess I pretty much told you everything that happened. But definitely, I still think it's worth the read. I couldn't explain it any better than actually reading it for yourself. So anyway, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And also, if you're interested in going to YumaCon 2013, it's a convention I'm going to be at. Death Note Guy Zero, Ryu Itachi, the Elite Ace is taking place in Detroit. I have more information about that in another video, which I'm going to link down below. So if you're interested, again, check it out. That's pretty much brings us to the end of the video, so I'll see you later.